run until he got tired, and he'd be sitting on the bench. You letting dudes after a made basket get a full court pass and a layup. There's just no excuse for that. You got guys not rotating on defense, Brook trying to cover the hole, and then all they do is they move the ball around, and when Brook rotates, there's no one there to cover that side. I get it. There is no perfect defense that's going to stop everybody, but it seemed like Ja Morant was out there playing in a Summer League Pro-Am game, like Chris King always says with the 86 for Beauchamp, right? Like, these dudes embarrassed us. Taylor Jenkins, phenomenal job tonight. Phenomenal job. Maybe he should have been the coach when Bud left. And I know he was already in Memphis, but maybe we hung on to him too long. Maybe if we had Taylor, we would have won a couple championships by now. I don't know, man. Someone has to pick it up. It's not looking good. We looking barbecue chicken, the entire team. We're giving these national pundits the opportunity to run over us. And hell, Legler may have undersold us. We may not we not even a 7 seed right now. And I know it's 5 games in and stuff like that, but poor defense, bad shot selection. And then like Gary Trent Jr. and Taurean Prince, you got to make a shot. Just point blank, period. Like, these aren't even contested threes you're shooting. You're shooting wide open threes and you're throwing up bricks. If that's the case, they could put the 3 of us in there on the wing and we can do that.
Now let me welcome our YouTube audience in. For whatever reason, the restream is not like instantly kicking in anymore. It happened the other night to us too. And somebody said, "Hey, I didn't get my come on in the room." So for the YouTube audience that's just now joining, that we got it in, come on in the room, come on in the room. And now I can see your chat, everything that you got going on. And we're talking about, again, you just joined us here. We're talking about what's happening with the Memphis Grizzlies beating the Milwaukee Bucks 122-99 tonight. The effort wasn't good enough. Nothing about this game was good enough for the Milwaukee Bucks. And I don't know where you start. Like, this team needs a reality check, like a gut check. Like what kind of basketball team do you want to be? What kind of, like, I listen, and I don't know how far of a line where Doc Rivers feels he can do, what he feels he can do with his basketball team. I don't know the kind of connection and rapport he believes he has with this locker room. But you should be able to go to them boys and say and check some manhood, because stuff need to get checked. People need to get checked. Somebody needs to figure out what kind of basketball team do you want to be. Because this is about, some of this is about effort, some of this is about getting back, some of this is about some X and O's can't fix what I'm watching right now. I watched the Memphis Grizzlies. There's 6 minutes left in the third quarter. Memphis is rolling the damn ball up the court, trying to run the timeout without the shot clock going. I mean, the ball's rolling up the floor. Ja Morant, you playing with me, dog. You're playing so again, you see these Carolina Panthers on my chest, right? And so the other game, the other Sunday, the Carolina Panthers were playing the damn Denver Broncos. Sean Payton on the other side. J.C. Horn's the corner. J.C. Horn's dad, Joe Horn, played for Sean Payton. Sean Payton, it's 28-7, whatever it was. Sean Payton on fourth down is faking a field goal. And faking field goals, going for it. Faking punts, going for it. Next possession, come down throwing double reverses. And J.C. Horn, it goes to Sean Payton and was yelling. And now again, some of that is, hey, you got to stop him. I agree that if you can't stop me, yeah, do what you want to do. But you ain't about to punk me like that. And again, I understand both sides of it, but I definitely understand J.C. Horn yelling, like, nah, you're not about to do that to me. And so when they rolling the damn ball up the court, up 25 or 6, I'm diving at your ankles, dog. That's me, though. But again, I know everybody can't do that, and Steve Kerr said, oh, that's breaking the code. You're not about to play with me like that just because you're the Milwaukee Bucks. I've won a championship. Memphis Grizzlies ain't won no damn championship. What championship Ja Morant got? You're not about to roll the ball up the floor, and I got to sit there and watch it. No, where's the pride at, dog? Like, where's the pride for this basketball team? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I got more energy right here talking to you guys than I saw on that floor for everybody outside number 34. I got one guy who gave a damn tonight. Damian Lillard was a non-factor tonight. It was bad. And again, he does go down. I don't know where you go with this basketball team, man. Somebody got to explain to me where you go with this basketball team. Will Lindquist says, please stop comparing Doc Rivers to Phil Jackson. Enough of this shit. Who the hell compared Doc Rivers to Phil Jackson?
Somebody out there damn mind. They tripping right now. Talking about Doc. They talking about that. Wow.
Man.
Wow.
Hunt Jaculate says, I'll be driving off the 794 bridge after watching this team tonight. Stay safe, but I don't blame. If I didn't think it was facetious, I'd tell you not to. I'd tell you to call the hotline. But I think you're joking out there. This is a joke, man. One Punch Man says the Bucks team plays soft. They need some killers on the team. A Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler type players. Draymond's a little fake tough. Jimmy Butler is fake tough too. I hear you. You know I don't believe in that heat culture stuff. Jimmy Butler's one of those guys that and I don't even want to talk about other players right now because our team is so damn bad. I can't even talk bad about other players. But Jimmy Butler, one of them dudes that he halfway play. He don't all play. He don't want to play to the playoffs too. I don't need another Chris Middleton. Get on Chris Middleton, man. You want me to tell you what I heard about Chris Middleton before I say? Let me tell you what I heard third hand from Chris Middleton. That was
the source.
The third. Okay, this is third. This is third hand. So this is not second hand. It's not first. I'm letting you know this is third hand information I got. Chris Middleton's been cleared to play, folks. Chris Middleton's been cleared to play, and he's decided, with a SpongeBob, I don't feel like it. That's Chris Middleton. Go ahead, JT. I don't have nothing else. I don't know what to say, man. I'm done with it. God.
I mean, it's not really a whole lot to say. You have a team with talent. At least you're five, at least you're ones, and everybody just looks absolutely terrible. And again, like we're in the quicksand right now. And, are we a few inches in? Are we waist deep in it? I really can't tell, but we literally are in the quicksand right now, and we can't get out of it. We're in the pain cave, and that's just what I'm seeing here. It's rinse and repeat. I'm really startled at the lack of effort. I'm just amazed that you're right. We have no hustle, no fight. Giannis. Now, here's what bothers me. So you know how the national media talks about Giannis wanting to get out of Milwaukee.
We're gonna talk about that too.
So I'm gonna tease it right now because I know we're gonna get to that. But the national media talks about Giannis wanting to get out of Milwaukee, and all the Milwaukee fans are like, "Yeah, this is crazy. This makes no sense. Where's this coming from? Where's it not?" I'm gonna tell you right now, if Giannis got to work this damn hard every night and nobody else wants to do nothing, those rumors gonna start to sound a whole lot more true. They're going to start to sound a whole lot more accurate, and those rumors are about to go absolutely crazy. And we can talk about how they're fake, they're not true, they're this and that. But at the end of the day, if the team performance is bad, it's going to be a lot harder to rebut those rumors. And, I mean, there's only but so many times Giannis can come out and say, I want to be in Milwaukee, I'm happy, I'm here, before it starts to say, are you really? Right before the question, you start to really question, like, how happy are you in Milwaukee, especially looking at this roster, the lack of draft picks, the lack of player development. We seem to be married to Doc, and right now this ain't it. This ain't it at all, right? And so I certainly – I don't think we're there yet. But if these trends continue, we'll get there much sooner than later. And that's just, it's a significant issue for this club.
Want to thank Matthew Adlard on the YouTube for donating for the donation. And he says Dame looks washed. So we appreciate Matthew. Of course, listen, man. We really appreciate that. If you guys want to chime in, donate some of your hard-earned money to the Cream City crossover, it's always greatly appreciated. Your likes, follows, all of that greatly appreciated as well. My bad. I just want to make sure we shout out Matthew for the generous donation there. Go ahead, Justin, or JT. I know JT, were you? Justin, go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm gonna give the floor. I'm yielding my time to to Justin.
Man, that's really awesome with that donation. That's probably the most awesome thing that happened tonight, other than Mr. Antetokounmpo showing up and everybody else not showing up. Man, like, I'm tired of hearing we got 2 top 75 players, 2 top 70. These dudes need to play like it at the same time, and I don't know if this is that, and now I'm about to piss some people off, and I'm sorry, but I don't know if this is going over there and playing for Greece for a makeshift medal you not going to win, and you should have been in the lab with Dame getting better. And to say Dame looks washed, he may look washed. He had a bad shooting night. You're going to have those when your game is relied on the jump shot. But the thing about Dame is he had a bad shooting night, yes, but you got to impact the game in a different way when you have that bad shooting night, because it's not always going to go in. It's two dudes I know that are in there. Please don't punch a wall, but punching walls and kicking over lockers. I think it's Ajax and Giannis. Now, Ajax, he comes in there with good energy. He's not a punk, but we got to find a way to control that energy a little bit more so you're not getting 5 fouls in a minute and a half, too, because you bring something. You bring a toughness. When John Morant got knocked to the ground and he's running his mouth, AJ stepped up in his face. Hey, y'all know I'm the president of the Bobby Portis fan club. Dog, I don't need that pseudo tough stuff. I need you to get in somebody behind in the basketball game.
Hey, yo. Hey,
No
yo.
Hey,
yo.
Listen, hey, Doc, and if you ain't got the answers, dude, you should gracefully bow down. You got ties to Milwaukee. You saw what this team is. Don't come here and mess it up. And if it's your coaching staff, someone need to. But and this is what really pissed me off about the game. We down 52,000 points tonight, and you want to run Giannis and Dame out there. Okay, you trying to let them dudes figure it out. But put the two young rookie dudes in there with them, and let's see how they run together. Because running them with Torian Prince, who didn't make a shot until we down 28, and Gary Trent Jr., hey, man, we brought these dudes here to be shooters. I take Malik Beasley back right now, letting dudes blow by him and whatever the case people's issue was with him, because at least he could get a heater and knock down shots.
True.
We ain't got nobody scoring the ball, and we got a bunch of dudes just looking around at each other. It's like, hey, we playing 1-on-5 all night. But shout out to Giannis, shout out to Ajax, hell of a basketball game. And JT, you spot on. These rumors is like it was a little forest fire, not a whole damn building on fire, man.
Yeah, so speaking of which, right? Let's talk about Dame for a second. I think Dame, for the most part of this season, has brought it. I don't want to harp on Dame. It was an underwhelming because it was one of the worst performances of his career tonight. And the last game wasn't that great either. Now, Dame's in a bit of a slump from three, right? He's 6 for 27 over the last 3 games from three. So that's underwhelming. That's not good. Having said that, I think Dame will work through it. Dame will get there at 3. I'm not really worried as much about Dame because Dame's been bringing it. He's gonna be okay. Now, where I think the issue is Dame on defense. This ain't getting any better. It just kind of is what it is. And again, I don't mind if Dame is doing Dame things. Who cares about how he plays in defense? The problem though, and I think what exacerbates things is that when Dame is not hitting shots. And then Prince not hitting shots, and then Gary Trent Jr. not hitting shots, and everybody, and it's like, okay, now that's where it hits the fan, and the snowball gets bigger and bigger. And, I don't know what it takes to get fight in the guys. Like some guys, who are you playing for? You playing for your paycheck, you playing for your mama, you playing for your friends or here. But I just look at this team. There has got to be something going on inside this locker. There's got to be some sort of tension or something here. Because they don't even look like they're playing hard for each other. Half of the time, they don't look like they really want to be out there. Giannis is out there balling because I think Giannis only has one speed. I'm going to be honest. I only think Giannis has one speed, and that's 100%. Like, I just don't – I just think that's kind of what he does. But, this is embarrassing. And the question that I have, though, is if we're going to make a move, and I know and people were like, it's early to make a move. No, it's not, because we did make a move today. We told Marjan, hey, bro, what time's your lease up? All right, we'll see you later. Because right when your lease up, okay. All right, look, if you want to break that lease early, we'll help you out. We'll see you later. Like, we already told Marjan, we're not picking up your option. So, like, you can do cardio if you want to. You can come work out of the facility, see the doctors, but we're good. But the reality of it is you're looking at this team. We're old. We're slow. We're dejected at this point. I never thought I'd say that about them. We look dejected at this point. And, quite honestly, you got to do something because we can't keep trotting everybody else out. And just, what's the definition of insanity, Trey?
Doing the same thing, expecting a different result.
Man, and how many, the rinse and repeat. Like, this is kind of what we're seeing at this point. So we got to do something, man.
Well, and I guess to your point there, because you mentioned it again, it was really everybody outside of Giannis. It really was. It wasn't like anybody really had good nights. It's like, except for Ajax. I thought Ajax played hard, but outside of that, it was really you didn't know what was going on, and it's hard to really. I guess my question, my thought process. We've seen this basically since the first opening night. against the 76ers, this is what the effort, this is what everything for the majority of time has looked like. So it really doesn't even behoove me to talk about what happened against Memphis tonight, because it's the exact same thing over and over again, right? Like this is what I'm seeing from this basketball team. You said the word dejected, but we talked about loose balls. Nobody's going to get it. John Morant throwing alley oops from his butt. John Morant's sitting down throwing alley oops. Guys are watching things happen. It just doesn't look good. And this is probably the most concerning thing, JT, when you talk about the effort level and what you're seeing. A team that's not connected and a team that doesn't care. We're in game 5. I could see maybe you go through a slump in the middle of the season. It's January, and you schlepping around all over the place, and man, we in Utah tonight, fellas. Yeah, this ain't it, guys. We got Utah, and then we got Portland. And I don't feel it tonight. With this West Coast trip. That's like man, I just we're struggling. Last 4-5 games is West Coast trip. I get some of that stuff. How are you not pumped up for the start of the year? How in game 5 are we talking about these guys don't like they ready to play or want to play? That doesn't make sense to me, like at all. That makes 0 sense. No reason that should happen. And again, you think you got Giannis, everybody can at least gravitate towards the energy level he's playing. Nah. And again, Giannis and Ajax and everybody else, nah, they just don't have it. But some of it though is just straight up shooting basketball. Like I understand, and I want to try. I'm really trolling when I talk about the Adrian Griffin, Doc Rivers thing, because I said all along I didn't think it was a coaching issue. So it's really hypocritical for me to really trash Doc Rivers when I was telling you all last year. I don't think it's a coaching issue in the first place. Like, I really didn't think Adrian Griffin was doing a terrible job. It was the guys that he had on the floor. And I'm seeing some more of that, so I really don't want to get into it. Like I said, I'm trolling when I talk about things were better under Adrian Griffin. Now, they were, but I'm trolling. But how many? I mean, I would probably say at least 10 warm-up threes that you just missed tonight. Between Gary Trent Jr., Damian Lillard, the degree of difficulty, he should hit threes at a higher degree of difficulty because he's just a better player. But he's missing. Brook is. There were moments again. Second quarter, Giannis brought them back and got it within 7. Because they were down 20 in the first. Got it back. Giannis go on a tear, gets it back to a 7-point game. And I think it was Bobby at the corner 3. These are just shots. You just have to make some of these shots. And I guess that there. I question that too. Like, do you think this is a period where the Bucks are just slumping from 3? And like. Because that's two things that we could talk about right there, where you're not able. You don't have to put in a lot of energy and effort to hit threes. Like, that's just shooting the ball. Like, so what is the problem there? Bobby Portis should be able to shoot threes. Like, David Lillard should be able to shoot. It shouldn't take effort to. I'm in a set shot here. Like, some of these, it ain't like you getting bad looks. Like, I saw plenty. You go through the tape, plenty of warm up threes just clanked. And again, there's an energy effort problem, which is defense, getting back, transition, turnovers. We didn't have a big turnover problem tonight, but you get some of that on one side. On the other side, I'm just missing 3. That has nothing to do with effort. So like, what? That's my question. Is this team just bad? Is this just a bad basketball team? And if that's the case, we're looking at John Horst, like you said, JT. We're looking at, okay, what do we need to do? What are the assets? And again, your assets are Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton, who hadn't played. Those are your guys that you look because I just don't think, again, and I want to say, I let you guys, you can go in a second here. I will give them the time. You have to give them a little bit of time. Obviously, I got to see it with Chris Middleton coming back. And again, if you're just joining us, I told you my sources third hand, so take it as you will. I'm not a journalist. Third-hand sources are telling me Chris Middleton's cleared to play. He just doesn't want to come back until he's fully healthy, until he deems himself fully healthy. But he is cleared to play, is what I've been hearing. Is this? So I have to see them come back with that. But like, is it just a bad team? Are the Bucks just bad? Like, what am I missing about this basketball team?
Well, and that's exactly the problem. Is some of this is the obvious right now. Listen, everything that everybody's saying this year is kind of some of the same stuff they were saying last year. We're too old. We're slow. We got questions about depth. We got a bunch of different. I think our depth was a little bit better last year, but we still kind of said some of the same stuff last year. The difference is the team defied that at times. Yeah, we're old and slow, but a lot of times we look good. So it was like, hey, well, listen, we're gonna ride this thing until the wheels fall off. Now it seems like maybe it's catching up with us. Maybe we really are too old and too slow, and we can't rely on a bunch of guys that are probably yawning at the club around 9:30, 10 o'clock, right? Because they came to the club at 8. That's a different age when you go into the club at 8, at 9. But they're yawning. Well, that's what we got at this point. And it's like, okay, we know we have guys who are older. We know we have guys who are slower, but how do we counterbalance some of that? How do we counter that? And it's just not there, right? You would think we have an older team, so we have a more mature team, a higher basketball IQ team, a team who can outsmart you. Nope, that's not what you see with these guys. Not at all. Nope, experience does not. That's what's been so maddening to me too about this team. Experience does not matter with these dudes. They're the more experienced team 90% of the time when they're on the court. None of it matters.
I mean, there's so much to unpack tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton, Marjon Beauchamp, whoever else we always get in this chatting on Twitter, are viable trade pieces. Like the NBA, watching these guys struggle and play bad too. So why am I going to give you some of my valuable assets for your underperforming assets this year? I just don't get that. And then we got Basketball Reach saying, even if we make these threes tonight, we still lose this game.
That's
we
true.
missed 100 threes. We made 40% of them were in the game. And then maybe Giannis's effort that he's trying to bring changes the course of the game. Giving away all of our draft picks, I hate to sit here and second guess all these decisions like I could do John Horst's job or Doc Rivers' job or anybody's job. But I can tell you one thing. Us three as fans, some of these folks in the chat, some of these folks on Twitter, you're pissed off. I'm pissed off. We're all pissed off. I hope them guys in that locker room feel this heat, and I hope they pissed off.
They don't.
Because if you just
right. Listen, I don't want to ruin your day, but I don't think they are. I don't think they do feel this heat. They don't care. You know why? Because ain't nobody playing with that direct deposit. That's why. And that's the thing. At the end of the day, they still get paid. Do a great job, do a poor job. They still get paid. And Justin, I'm just gonna tell you right now, I see nothing that indicates that anybody in there feels any heat at all right now.
Yep.
So then roll back to your original point, or when you were alluding to the trade stuff, like we can't get mad if this man forces a trade.
Well, no,
if we got okay. Well, hold on. So you now here's why you can't, because this is what he asked for. Now we can say that, we can talk about it, but this is what Giannis, and again, I want to get to that in a second, but for what it's worth, that's what he again, and I don't think he forced Dame to come, but they knew he wanted to play with Damian Lillard. That's a bit of what he wanted. They knew he was going around on podcasts last offseason, and so that's the only part I get on Giannis for. He was running around as long as the Bucks put a championship team together. That's when but I don't know how long. He went on podcasts and was doing that mess, and the Bucks immediately traded Drew Holiday, brought in Damian Lillard, and now to his credit, Giannis clearly showed his. That's why I don't believe some of these reports. Giannis clearly showed his approval because he signed an extension early to make sure he was in Milwaukee after the Bucks traded for Damian Lillard. So clearly, this is what he asked for. The Bucks did what he wanted. Now you can talk about what they could do around the margins, but the Damian Lillard stuff is 100% what he asked for, and he got it. And sometimes, hey, someone once told me the grass is much greener on the other side.
And again, remember though, Giannis was also behind Dr. Griffin. Giannis was also behind Dr. Griffin too. So that is true. Having said that though, is it possible? And I want you to ask your source this that's inside the building. is it possible that there's some friction and some tension there between Giannis and the front office because of some of these moves that haven't worked out? How it seems like they've tried to accommodate him. How this team is in a world of pain right now, and they don't really have any options here. Like I'm just curious as to what that relationship is like at this point, because we got draft picks. When's the next time we got a second round? We want no draft picks to win.
I'd have to look and see what
is it like? Isn't it like 2030 something crazy?
Looks like. Well, and that's the thing. If you want to get better now, because I believe they won the draft picks back. I think you're right. The first is like 2031, whatever it is. Somebody in the chat let me know. If you want to get better now, you'd have to. And that's the thing. Those picks, you got to keep Giannis today. So
right.
So that pick that just became available, I believe they finally got a first round pick back that they could potentially use in a trade. And again, you're probably not gonna make a trade if you make one until December, because I think how the rules around when timing and when a lot of guys are eligible to be traded. So you're probably not making a move until December, a legitimate move until December anyway. But
Chat's telling you 2031.
30. Sorry, okay, 20. No, thank you. So 2031. But that's what I'm saying. That pick is now available. Like there's a while where the Bucks didn't have any first round picks they could use. Your 2031 pick. Yeah, you need to be packaging that in with, like you talked about. Well, I don't know what you can get for a Bobby Brook Christmas. Whenever you make that deal, yeah, that's another pick that you're just gonna lose. You got to give it away. But I do want to tell you about. Speaking of, I love this segue. Speaking of giving away, you know what they giving away over at Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill? You know what they're giving away over there?
Tickets.
Free Milwaukee Bucks tickets. You're right. Now, damn it. Hey, some of y'all may not want to see them Bucks the way they playing, but they giving them tickets away at Curly's every Wednesday and Thursday night. Section 102, row 23, seats 1 and 2. Excellent seats down to Fiserv Forum. Every Wednesday night for bingo. Every Thursday night for trivia. Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill out in Lakeview Boulevard, Pewaukee, Wisconsin. And also during every televised Milwaukee Bucks game, $3 bottles and pints. Get them right there. Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grills, your Bucks headquarters. They are also a proud sponsor of the Cream City Crossover. I didn't do a trivia question because I had to set up the show tonight. So for future episodes, the only time we'll do trivia on my end is when Chris is running production. It's just a little too much going on for me to handle all that. But Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill, get down there every time you can. Great wings, great food, great atmosphere. But get down, especially Wednesday and Thursday in every Milwaukee Bucks game. Get yourself some tickets. Have some fun down at Curly's. And tell them the Guru as well as the Cream City Crossover sent you on through. But back to it, man. I want to get this before we go to the Giannis stuff, because we will cover exclusively the Giannis thing and get to those questions. Go ahead, Justin. Go ahead. What you want?
Because I know we've been doing a lot of talking about this Drew Holiday stuff, man. These same Memphis Grizzlies with Ja Morant cooked Drew Holiday too. Like, this ain't nothing new with Taylor and his team cooking us. They've been cooking us even the year where they had a bunch of G Leaguers out there. They cooked us.
Oh, that's right.
So let's not allude to the fact that Drew Holiday would have made a big difference. First of all, he can't score the rock in this lineup if you switch Drew with Dame. If Dame can't score, Drew damn sure can't score.
Correct.
Correct. Ja Morant is so frustrating to me. He laughing, he dancing, he talking junk, and up 30, he's high-fiving Moneybag Yo or whoever the hell that was in the front row. Like, the kid get under my nerves to the 27th power. But the thing is, like you said when you laid it off or when you said it on Twitter, bro, Dame got to start showing up to this stuff like Giannis did tonight. Giannis saw Zach Edey down there and saw that all the hype was around him, and he took it to his front door and showed him, this ain't Big Ten basketball, homie. This is NBA, and I'm going to chicken wing you out of that league, out of that way. Hey, Dame, we know you can't check Ja. I know that. Everybody knows that. No disrespect to you, but you could get better defensively than what you are. But you better not let Scottie Pippen Jr. outplay you. You're Damian Lillard, top 75, and you got this dude's whose dad is top 75 cooking you. The Lakers gave him away for a bag of donuts.
Yeah. No, I mean, Damian Lillard, his performance, and I'll give Dame a break because, and I think, JT, you were correct. When you're a jump shooter like Damian Lillard, the nights will fluctuate when you don't have a good jump shooting night. But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, when you have to impact the game in other ways. And Ja Morant finds ways. Like Ja Morant, let me look at the box score. Damian Lillard has 6 assists tonight. John Morant had 14. He was all over the floor. Giannis, like you said, attacked the hell out of Zach Edey. Did a great job. Say it again. Oh, did I miss
And like
something?
dude said in the chat, man, Ja was on a minutes
there you go.
restriction too.
Was he
It's
really?
crazy.
Wow. Yeah, 28 minutes for John
I just
Morant.
said Ja was on a minutes restriction, like dude said.
Yeah, 29 minutes for John Morant, 26 points, 10 rebounds, 14 assists. He would have been the second leading rebounder in the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, yeah, it just wasn't a lot of positives. Let's go to the Twitter chat, see what they're saying on Twitter. At He Manson says, just really deflated right now. Address one issue, 3 more pop up. Right now, poor offense is making defense harder than it has to be. They go hand in hand at times. The vibe on this team is as flat and as bad as we've had it since before Jason Kidd was the head coach. It's rough right now. CD and Co says, tank for Cooper Flag, just do it. At Freak34 MKE says, second worst record in the league with 2 top 75s is laughable. At IMQ1265 says, Thanasis really was the heartbeat of the team. They look lifeless without him. So Thanasis, the heartbeat of the team, is interesting. At the Wisconsin kid says, besides Giannis, who really cares out there for real? Firing Doc's not happening, and it wouldn't fix anything. At KJBD11 says, fire up the trade machine, but not in a fun way. At Drew Barringer says, we're not making the postseason. At MKE Bucks 11 says, we are actually a straight up bad team. I'll read a couple more of these. At GA_Hoop says, I'm hoping at least you guys bring the heat on the show. Giannis, hang in there, bud. At Jordan Rules TSP says, fire horse, blow it up. And one more. Let's see. Here we go. Let's do at J_Cold as Jelly says, the most frustrating part of the post-COVID Bucks outside of 2021 is that they've done everything a small market team should be doing. They pushed all of their chips in multiple times, but the dealer keeps having a 21 and the Bucks have an 18. Fourth quarter gives me some hope. That's a great Josh Cold to Jelly just earned a follow for me. I thought that was a great tweet there. The most frustrating part of the post-COVID Bucks is that they've done everything a small market team should be doing. Pushed all of their chips in multiple times, but the dealer keeps having a 21. The Bucks have an 18. Is that not correct? Like in theory, and that's why I'm so hard. Everybody's like, John Horst, in theory, the correct move is going and giving yourself another top 75 player. Like, in theory, that's the move. That's the move. He did, when he traded for Damian Lillard, did we not go crazy? I should have known something was up when he arrived late to Pfizer. When we were talking about that, people were like, he had to do it. Nah, he was rethinking. He was like, damn, I didn't know they was really going. I knew I put him on my list. I didn't know they was really going to do it. But that was a great. I mean, I could have said it better myself. That's exactly what you do. You go trade for top 75. You keep a Bobby Portis six man a year type player with him. You got shooters on there. You got a Brook Lopez, protect the paint, shoot the three. In theory, you have everything. And yet you have nothing. You end up hurt last year. And that's I'll get to the Giannis rumors in a second, but let's go. Let's just stay there for a second. And then I promise right after that we'll get to Giannis and these the trade speculation, the report that came out from what's the man, Bill Ryder. But let's wherever you want to go, especially on Dame or anything like that. But before we pivot to the Giannis rumors.
I mean, there ain't really not much more to say on that, right? Like, I mean, I think I have faith. I think Dame's going to snap out of it. He certainly. I think things are going to turn around. Now, what I can't say is I have no idea what's going to happen with Dame on defense. I don't think any of us do. I don't believe that you become a better defender, in year 12, whatever year he's in, than you were before. I don't see that. I mean, I don't. I mean, maybe Doc schemes up some things are a bit more favorable to you if possible, but for the most part, that's probably not going to happen. Having said that, we didn't bring Dame here for his defense, so I can't act like what do I be upset for? Like, have you watched the man play? Like we gonna be mad that Dame doesn't play defense? Like, no, it is what it is. We brought Dame here to be that electric player that he was in Portland, and we've seen some great things from Dame. So I certainly don't want to pile on Dame. He's in a slump right now, and I actually feel a lot more confident about Dame than I do about anybody else on the team not named Giannis right now. So let's make that clear as well. But I think Dame is going to play better, and honestly, Dame's not really what I'm worried about. It's really everybody else outside Giannis and Dame, where it's like, we got some major concerns here, some serious flaws on this roster.
So I want to make sure I'm clear. We're only talking about Dame for tonight. We're not talking about his entire career.
Correct.
We're not talking about his entire season or anything else like that. Like, these guys are good basketball players. Gary Trent Jr. is a good basketball player. We saw him in Toronto. We saw him in Portland get buckets. Taurean Prince served a role on a team with 2 other top 75 players last year and filled that role adequately. Ajax is a winner collegiately. You got to transition that to the NBA. Bobby Portis, at one point in his career, was Bobby Buckets. Chris Middleton, I hope your source is off, Trey. I really do. Because that sits pretty bad with me being a Bucks lifer, seeing some of these sorry teams from when Joe Prisbilla was our best player on the team, right? Like, you got dudes out here risking their all. I mean, Giannis hasn't had the most healthiest season the last 4 to 5 years. He's out there balling and giving everything he has for this city. So I'm just going to hope that he's trying to be a little bit apprehensive on those ankles because they're not 100% ready and he doesn't feel confident in it. That's just what I'm going to hope for.
Here's where it's coming. Let me just give you some context. Here's where it's apparently coming from is the fact that he doesn't, or at least this is the thought theory kind of behind it, is what I guess he doesn't want, and what he's actually talked about, is not wanting to come back and then having to restart it. So, I played 10 games and I'm having, what he doesn't want, I guess, is a setback. And so it's one of those things where I may be cleared to play, but I want to be cleared and I want to be able to just go and be, versus I can play 20 games and and then this isn't gonna work for me. So that seems to be where it's kind of coming from. And he said as much in the past, but that is, like I said, I'm just going off what it was told to me. He's cleared.
Right.
And I think he had an interview with Eric Neem that dropped as well, where he didn't say he was clear, but I think he said something to the effect of like, I know my body best, which again doesn't say that a doctor knows your body. And so again, just pointing out there.
Well, I think this team will turn it around, though, man. And like, I know I'm pissed off Justin again tonight. Like, losing isn't fun. I'm sure, like what JT said earlier in the program, is as far as there's some tension in that locker room, there should be, because losing sucks. We all hate it. We all want to win, and we're not winning right now. But I think we're going to turn it around. I think there's a lot of good, talented players on this basketball team. I do think Bobby Portis still has something left in the tank. I think Brook is a viable option. But these coaches, they're off right now. The players are off right now. And we're seeing this effort and this level of basketball that we're not accustomed to in Milwaukee. Look, no disrespect. I love Michael Redd to death, but this ain't the Michael Redd Bucks. At 7 for 8 seed, rest in peace, Herb Cole, is not acceptable to us anymore. We have 2 top 75 players on this team. We need to be a top 3 seed. We need to put the NBA on notice, and it better start Saturday night with an undefeated team. If you can't get up to beat them boys in the Pfizer after you done got your butt torn off 3 or 4 or 5 different ways by everybody. Everybody. Yeah, I'm rolling, dog. I'm just upset, man.
No, I get it. I'm with you. I do want to give a shout out to Mindful Attraction 2.0 with the $50 super chat, who says firing Doc will instantly improve the team. Imagine a coach gets hired, team is 17-22, and turn the team around to 30-22. Doc did that, but in reverse. And he says that firing Doc instantly will improve the team. Again, appreciate the super chat from Mindful Attraction. Hey, y'all in here rolling tonight. So we appreciate all the likes, all the follows, everything. Appreciate you tuning into the Cream City Crossover. Mindful Attraction. And he says Doc is a jinx. I ask you, and I ask the chat too, since you're going there. Hunt Jackley says Doc needs to go and Horse needs to go with him. Horse drafting alone should get him fired. Where do you? Okay, tell me. Here's my only thing on the Doc Rivers, and then we'll get to Giannis, I promise. Here's my only thing on the Doc Rivers thing. I don't necessarily disagree. I do think a lot of his players. I don't necessarily disagree. I'm not the biggest Doc fan in the world either. But my question is, okay, where do you go? John, we talked about it all last year when they were firing Adrian Griffin. What do we say about when you fire coach in the middle of the season? You
You're
punting.
punting.
You
You're
punt
punting.
it. You
Generally
ain't
speaking,
winning,
yes.
You ain't winning no chip firing coach in the middle of the season. You just saw the Jets gonna get a win tonight, but you saw what happened. You fired Robert Saleh. You're not. Hey, the season's over, dog. It's a wrap. It's a wrap when you fire your coach. You are working towards next year. So I get it. You may have some apathy towards Doc Rivers, but I promise you, there's not a guy out there. If you want to hire the guy, that guy was probably Kenny Atkinson. You didn't go get Kenny Atkinson. Mm-hmm. Oh boy, you're gonna see Kenny Atkinson though, because he's gonna be on the sidelines coaching up them Cleveland Cavaliers on Saturday night. But yeah, I guess that's my only thing. I'm not even necessarily disagreeing with you, Michael Traction. And you say any coach will do better. And then he hires Darvin Ham, fired the whole crew. Anywhere they had a rookie coach do better. I guess that's my thing. I don't necessarily know that. And my thing is, I think firing a coach, it just screams. I get it. I don't say if you're a Bucks fan, you're panicking. I think somebody asking that in the chat too. Are you panicked now? Where are you on panic? You're definitely getting closer with every loss. You're getting closer till you get a win. But I, as an organization, you can't show that. Like, you can't. We can panic as fans. You guys can panic. The media can panic. The pundits can. But as an organization, no, you can't. You can't fire another coach. You just can't do it. You just can't do it.
So the problem is, and I agree with you. Here's the thing: 4 coaches in a 2-year period is pure chaos and dysfunction. And that's what you're pretty much looking at if you were to get rid of Doc. Even if Doc were to step down, let's say that Doc said, you know what, I was good, retired, being in the booth a little bit and everything else. Even if Doc were to step down, you're looking at your 4th coach in 2.5 years. At the end of the day, Trey's made this point too. At that point, you're doing a rebuild. Like, there's no question about that. And I think if you do fire Doc, you will have become temporarily the most dysfunctional franchise in the NBA. And I think if that happens, you're probably not going to be able to attract free agents. Keep in mind, you can't draft nobody, right? Your draft pick's not going to hit. So now you got an issue. You probably couldn't attract free agents. You're probably you're certainly gonna lose Giannis at that point. Unless that head coach is going to beat the Nazis, you are definitely going to lose Giannis at that point. You're probably going to lose Dame. You're probably going to lose just about everybody's going to say, I want out of here. And then all of a sudden, we're going to get Cooper Flagg. Boy, you know what else we're getting? Anybody and every other top prospect that's a one and done in the lottery at that point. So I don't think firing Doc is the right move. I didn't think hiring Doc was the right move. But now you're kind of stuck with him, and you got to find a way to make this work. You know, provided that your team does not have a complete mutiny and the chaos and tension is so palpable that you just can't proceed with it as is.
So Cooper Flagg and these lottery picks is a great idealization, but the fact is we ain't got a first-round pick to 2031. So we're getting someone else that pick.
That's right.
And they're going to get them. So that tanking stuff is done to me.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, JT. Firing Doc pretty much means Giannis and Dame are done, which means that we've mortgaged our entire future for nothing. I think Doc is I used to wonder, was it Doc or was it the players that played for him? I think he had a bunch of quitters that he coached at one time outside of that Celtics team. When you look at the James Hardens, the Chris Pauls, bunch of front running quitters. He got to get this into the right lane. Like we're the guy in the left lane on the freeway that's driving 45 miles an hour when the speed limit's 70. Get your behind to that right lane.
Oh yeah.
And let's go.
Hey, listen, if you're driving 45 miles per hour when the speed limit is 70, get your butt on the train. Stop playing. Don't be behind the wheel. Get your butt on the train. Get up in that Uber, that cab, or whatever. Just stop it. You put everybody else in danger because you're scared to touch the gas.
That part too. That's only true facts. But I just want to clear something up because I understand that when I say talent doesn't win basketball games, and I understand that. But when we're talking about talent, the effort goes right along with that. And these dudes gotta play better. It's just point blank, period. Doc can only put you in certain positions to get you to win the basketball game. But he's not the one that's throwing them off shots from Gary Trent Jr. He's not the one throwing them off shots from Taurean Prince. He's not the one that shot one for, what was Dame tonight? 6 points, didn't get to the free throw line until the second half. Like, you gotta exert yourself. I think what we're witnessing right now, and I'm going to go back to Giannis playing in Greece, and these guys haven't gelled yet, and we're going to start getting some wins. And by January, February, this is all going to be a moot point. But right now,
it definitely sucks. Definitely sucks. I want to appreciate everybody so far in the chat right now, listening live to the Cream City crossover. Man, jumping show tonight as we do this thing. And to your point, Justin, you say Doc can only put you in the right positions. Man, I shout out to my old DC at Howard University, Andre Kramer. He tell you, hey, all I can do is I give you 85%. You gotta do the 15. You like that 15% is between you and God. Which whatever you and God got worked out, I give 85% of the game is me putting you in position to make the play. That 15% you got to work out with the Lord. And so that's the buck. Doc got to give you the 85 and get you in the right place. That 15% has got to be your God-given ability, and you got to figure out how to keep this thing rolling. All right, let's move forward. Let's talk about Giannis. Trade rumors came out. Oh goodness, trade rumors came out today about Giannis, and they say that NBA executives say there is anticipation growing around the league that the Milwaukee Bucks star Giannis Antetokounmpo could be traded this season. Teams are circling and hopeful. And here's the thing about the Bill Ryder. Here's the thing about the Bill Ryder article here is that it says an anonymous executive for a Western Conference team told him this. So let's just think that's why I know we were talking about it today when it came out, but that's your source. That's the only source that Bill Ryder came up with was a Western Conference executive saying that teams are circling and hopeful. An anonymous Western Conference executive. That doesn't mean GM. That could be some low-level front office that no idea who this guy is. And he's just another NBA executive told Ryder that they wouldn't be surprised if Antetokounmpo trade happened by the February 6th trade deadline. Bullshit. If the Bucks are one and if the Bucks are one and whatever by February 6th, I will agree with that. Yeah, we might as well go ahead and trade Giannis.
The only way that happens, and honestly, I think the only way Giannis gets traded is if Giannis goes up to the front office and says, it's either him or me regarding him or Doc, or him or somebody else. If Giannis takes that move and is like, it's him or me, or if he goes, I'm not going to play for you anymore, I'm done, and I will go public with something like that. That's the only way. Giannis doesn't get traded unless he forces it. I think I would die on that hill. Giannis does not get traded out unless he forces it. And you guys know from everything we've seen about Giannis, he not going to be the guy to do the dirt. Somebody's going to do the dirty work for him. Somebody's going to do the dirty work for him if there's a trade. He's not going to be the guy that publicly goes to the media and does it himself. That's just that's not his brand. That's not what he wants to do. So I think it has to be a him or me or somebody type situation for Giannis to get out of Milwaukee. And even then, I still think the Hasms and everything else would probably choose Giannis 99% of the time.
Yeah, and again, I don't think it happens. The report goes on to say a third executive from East Conference team said they heard Giannis's preferred trade destinations would be and this is another executive now for an Eastern Conference team who says that they heard Giannis's preferred trade destinations would be the Miami Heat or the Brooklyn Nets. Why in the hell would Giannis go to Brooklyn? Why explain that's what I'm saying. I get it. The Bucks are 1-4. The Bucks just lost to Brooklyn Nets. Okay, cool. Just go through their roster and tell me, number one, what the hell they got to trade for Giannis, first off. And second off, why would he then go? What is attractive about if you were losing in Milwaukee, what the hell are you about to do in Brooklyn? What that makes no sense to that's why this thing it breaks down to me. The Miami Heat. What the hell? So again, what are we going? Again, I don't know who you're talking about taking back. So what you gonna do? You gonna pair Giannis and Bam? Or you tell me we're gonna get Bam? Or what trade are you making? So you just give us Tyler Hero and Jaime Jaquez and a couple of first rounds, and you think that's all you gonna get for Giannis Antetokounmpo? And he gonna
clear out.
Wow,
Yeah.
yeah. What's going on? Yeah, he ain't going to. Come on, man. I
The,
just don't believe Underground Hub. Brooklyn does not have a good team. No, they don't. 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 I get it. Cam Thomas is cool. No, they don't. Nick Claxton is cool. No, they don't. That's not a good basketball team. That's not a good
bench.
basketball. Cam Thomas and Giannis is nasty. Yeah, all right. Yeah, all right. Come on,
So
man.
how
Come on.
much
What are we doing?
how much credence do you put to that stuff where and I don't know how much credence this thing is and how true it is, but he has this great friendship with Brent Simmons. He always wanted to play with Ben Simmons, blah,
No,
blah,
he
blah.
calls him a baby back bitch every time he see him. Every time he see him, he calls him a bitch. Literally, I'm not even saying he's a bitch. Giannis literally dunks on him, looks at him, calls him a bitch every time he sees him. Every game he calls him a bitch. I'm not joking. Like, he literally looks at him, says, "You're a bitch."
So
He
so
says it.
the thing is, well, and I have no idea if Giannis and Ben Simmons are friends. I can't imagine how Ben Simmons has any friends right now. But I just can't, right? Like, I mean, all right. Well, the thing about this though that I'll say though is the hardest part about some of these articles though, you don't know how much of this is agent work. You don't know how much of this is just agent work or just agents feeding the stories, people playing some games here for whatever different reason. You never know what's going on. And the other thing I'll say about this with Giannis is that we look at it from the perspective of, well, right now, Milwaukee is probably the best place for Giannis to be from a basketball perspective. Overall, I don't know what else he's got going on in his life. I don't know what his long-term goals are. I don't know if he thinks he can do some more stuff off the court by moving or kind of navigating and doing something else too. I have no idea. And there may come a point where maybe somewhere is better for Giannis off the court, the on-court, off-the-court mix or balance. Maybe that becomes another city. I think as of right now, Milwaukee's still the best place for him. Having said that, that certainly may change. And look, guys, I don't want to say this about Glenn because Glenn's a Marquette guy. I'm a Marquette guy. So I want to give Glenn, y'all know him as Doc. I want to give Glenn his credit. But I'm not sure this thing can work between Giannis and Doc. I'm just really, my confidence level in Doc Rivers is very low right now. And and the chance of that changing is low. And honestly, I think it's starting to show that, like, we got a problem at the head at this point.
So my confidence in Doc isn't low, man, but maybe that's the Milwaukee dude in me, the Marquette, Wisconsin Badgers fan. Like, if we could hire Bo Ryan to be the coach, I'd be excited. I'm a homer. I don't care what y'all say in the chat. I don't care what y'all say in Twitter. I like Doc Rivers. Ain't no way around it. But what I'm going to say about Giannis is that I really don't think they put enough credence into the fact that this brother is from Greece. They didn't want him in Greece until they found out he was a basketball superstar. And all of a sudden they gave his parents citizenship and all this other stuff. And it was the owners of the Bucks that helped to facilitate getting him here. Alex Antetokounmpo would not have the education, nor, shout out to Chris King, the Dayton Flyers education, or I'm sorry, Costas, would not have that if it had not been for those Bucks owners. That's a different type of loyalty that we, growing up in the United States of America, cannot appreciate.
But just
when you bring,
let me just be clear on something though, right? This is not an indentured servitude type situation. Hey, you looked out for my family. You did everything. You were loyal to me. I brought you a title. I did my part. I brought you a title in 40 to 50 years. Why I don't win multiple titles? That might be on y'all. But I did my part.
Here's where I stop on that. Two things. One, Justin, I agree with you on the first part when you talk about they owners helping out Giannis. But remember, a lot of that help came from the Lazarus too. They're no longer there. He don't know Jimmy Haslam. Giannis a little. Who this guy? Who Jimmy Haslam coming in here? I never heard of him. Jimmy Haslam is now coming in and is started. And again, I'm telling you this from what I've heard, is asserting his influence and his dominance on this basketball team. Jimmy Haslam is the one who pushed for Doc Rivers to come in. I'm not gonna say he pushed for Adrian Griffin because Giannis pushed Adrian Griffin out of the door. But Jimmy Haslam was the one that once the Adrian Griffin thing became, oh, he's going out. It was Jimmy Haslam who said, hey, we want Doc Rivers. And now Doc Rivers is really running the show because it was one of those things where we did it your way. Now we're going to do it my way. Your way clearly didn't work. Doc Rivers has all the leverage in the world, right? And here's the only thing I say on that, JT, because I'm hearing you when you say, well, it's not indentured servitude. I did this, I did that. Hold on. But again, what we said before, this is what you asked for. Giannis, you're that's my, and again, I'm all the Homer stuff. Giannis, my guy. Giannis is my guy. I defend Giannis. I defend his honor. When people talk on Twitter, he's not giving the ball to Dame enough. No, I don't know where you got that from. Giannis doing his. I don't want to hear that. Like I said, what I say, JT? If somebody's a guest in your house, who needs to make you don't. No, you the guest. Nah, this my house. This Giannis was here first. You're the guest. You figure out what's going on. So Giannis here first. So
and
I
it all
got
depends on the scope of the relationship
right.
when it comes to who's going to. I mean, it is what it is, right? It is what it is.
Off when you walk through the door.
It is what it is. Depends on the.
But my only thing on that is a lot of what has Giannis asked for that he didn't get. So you can't on one hand, two things. What does Giannis ask for that he didn't get? And then on the second hand, your failures. No, sir. Your ass been hurt the last 2 years. It ain't been like everybody else. No, you were hurt for that Indiana series. Again, I love Giannis to death. You were hurt Indiana. You were hurt against Miami last year when Drew, and you can't say, oh, well, Drew Holiday got traded. Yeah. And yeah, when they was like, that's on you, you owe, I own you, all that kind of stuff. Your ass need to go guard him then. You didn't want to guard him. I'm just saying, you didn't want to guard him, and you were hurt for half the series. You would end hurt for all of the next series. You don't get to come back and tell me, well, that y'all didn't do enough for me. No, fool, you weren't there. And then you went to go play for Greece out in the Olympics. Oh, you wasn't hurt. Oh, but you wasn't hurt then. And again, I love Giannis. I preface by saying I love Giannis. But you don't get to play. You don't get to have it both ways. Where you hurt you in the postseason when we need you, you weren't there to play, and then you go, well, I didn't get enough help. No. Let me see you play through a full postseason first before you come back and try to tell me that the Bucks didn't do enough to get you a championship. You asked for Damian Lillard, got him. That's like, I got a 7-year-old right now. We gets the world. I love it to death. Gets the world. But again, she's 7. So what? It's never enough. It ain't never enough. It's all
it's never enough.
I want more. That's Giannis don't get to do that. Giannis don't get to do that.
But here's the point I'm gonna make to you, Trey. Right? Listen, just because he made a mess don't mean he got to sleep in it. Just because he made a mess don't mean he got to sleep in it. And again, sometimes people say, "Hey, I tried this." Look, CEOs do this all the time. They come in, they're supposed to do something here, they screw up everything. You know what? All right, man, it's about time. Let me go ahead and step down, keep this thing pushing. I don't really, it would not be unheard of for Giannis to do that. It would not be unheard of for a player of that caliber to go in, make a mess, try to cook up all these deals, and keep this thing pushing. See, LeBron James. Like, people do this all the time. Like, this is not unheard of at all.
It is not unheard of. It would also not be unheard of for me to send your ass. If you do that, I'll send your ass to Charlotte. I ain't going to send you to Brooklyn. You want to go to Brooklyn, man? I'm going to send your ass to Charlotte. That's what I'll do to you. Nah, you ain't gonna play that for me. I will send your ass to Charlotte, and then he would probably like Toronto. I know there's a big, so he probably would like Toronto. Kawhi Leonard, I send your ass to Toronto. I will send you to wherever the hell I feel like sending. I will send your ass to Portland. Play with me if you want to. No, I don't play that. I'm not playing that game. Play with me if you want to. I will send your ass wherever. Don't do that.
So
it's a problem because he's not gonna show up for the physical if you try to pull that. But yeah,
okay. all that walking with your kid to CVS. All that going to Target and popping up in the city and people not bothering you when you at dinner and stuff like that. That vibe ain't like that in Miami. That vibe ain't like that in Brooklyn. It's a different, bro, and I'm not trying to be rude, but you not from here. This big city life, go down 90 miles south. See how it is in Chicago. This Milwaukee sports media, them real media dudes that do it every day, 9 to noon and all that other stuff, they're nice to you, bro. No one says nothing negative about you.
Right.
You miss a couple shots. Look what they doing to Caleb Williams. Look what they doing to what the light-skinned boy is for the Bulls. Look what they do to Ben Simmons and all these big markets he go to. He having a mental crisis and need to go get some type of sports psychologist.
Airball them free throws in front of that New York media. See what it look like.
Look, be hurt 2 years in a row and not be able to show up for the playoffs and play in Greece. That New York media gonna eat you alive.
They started to turn on Joel Embiid out in Philly. They let Joel Embiid get away with a lot. They're starting to turn on him out in Philly too. The crowd as well. They're starting to turn on him out in Philly.
Right. Well, that's the
But
thing.
all this gonna be cool though. Once we win these 7, 8 in a row, and we sitting at this joint about 8-4, we done knocked off these 5-0 Cavaliers and stuff. We gonna be all right, man. So I know the chat going crazy and they talking about Giannis gonna carry the team and all that. He is gonna carry the team, and we gonna be great. Like we ain't gonna be good, we gonna be great.
Do the Bucks win? Do the Bucks win one of those games in Cleveland? Do they win at least one? It's a home and home against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Do they start the season off 1-6?
Nah, they starting the season out 3-4.
Okay.
Book it. Hey, let me say one thing though, JT, because you said before that you didn't want Doc Rivers, right?
No.
You know who I didn't want? I didn't want Haslam. I didn't want him to touch this team. He has ran a piss-poor franchise in Cleveland for years, and he's over-meddled and got in the middle of stuff that he shouldn't have been in. You got to let the basketball dudes be basketball guys, and you got to just be an owner and sell fat heads or whatever the owners do, or be Jerry Jones or be Mick Cup, whoever. You
Jerry
can't
Jones
meddle. Michael Jordan
Jerry Jones
is
definitely a meddler.
But the reason why we did want Haslam though is because Haslam cut the check. Haslam cuts the check, and we didn't want.
Haslam got that
owners.
Cash, baby.
Man. We didn't want the owners that were going to be a bunch of cheap asses, right? Like, so that's why we got Haslam. Haslam bring your money, right? The problem is Haslam bring his money, and then Haslam want to bring his thoughts, and we didn't want your thoughts. We didn't want your thoughts. We didn't want your suggestions. We didn't want your questions, and we didn't want your comments. What we wanted was your thoughts. Right? I mean, your checkbook. That's what we wanted, your credit line. And now, if Haslam does have his fingerprints on this, yes, you have a serious issue. You have a major problem. But, literally, here's what I worried about when we did it, was when we fired Bud. I worried that this was going to backfire and that things were not going to get any better. We probably talked about that when we talked about this. I mean, I don't know if it was Bucks and 60 or something. About, well, there is a chance because Bud has made this thing work. There certainly is a chance that we could see some regression, some significant regression if we do get rid of Bud. And now it just seems like that is coming to fruition, and I need us to get out of it.
Yeah, no, they got to get out of it. Mike Budenholzer, I'll say this on Mike Budenholzer though. And again, like Bud, and again, he's a great regular season coach. Again, I don't know what got into him in 2021. But for whatever reason, he wanted to get fired in 2022, and the way he operated the couple years after that, and really in 2018 too. That was no reason he should have got 4 in a row to losing to Toronto and getting out like that. But I like Bud. I don't know that it probably in hindsight 2020. Yeah, it was a mistake. I just wish Mike Budenholzer had not been so stubborn in the way that he coached. And again, hindsight 2020, what the Bucks should have probably done was, it looks like they probably should have kept Mike Budenholzer or hired somebody else instead of Adrian Griffin, maybe Kenny Atkinson or what have you, something like that. But again, talk about it. That was Giannis, who wanted to play for a former player. And so Kenny Atkinson was off the block because Giannis didn't want Nick Nurse. And he didn't want to play for a former player, so he didn't want to play for Kenny Atkinson. So he knocks again. Talk about JT. Those things he wanted. Lakers running it down mid, says Suns looking good under. But Mike Budenholzer, he great regular season coach. The question of Mike Budenholzer is going to be what happens in the playoffs. But again, that's going to be Mike Budenholzer's question: is when things go wrong and people figure you out, do you make adjustments? And Mike Budenholzer comes from the Popovich line of thinking where the law of averages will figure itself out, and in the playoffs, hey, people are quick moving. I'll say this as well, but go ahead, JT. I'll say this too. Y'all keep talking about Mike Budenholzer. You know who else? I said this on Twitter the other day. It's coming around full circle. You know who's better than the last 2 coaches the Bucks have had in Adrian Griffin and Doc Rivers? You know who that guy is?
That fella down in Dallas.
Yes, sir. Jason Kidd. Put some respect on his name. Put some respect on his name.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Because you think about this with Bud, because you could say that, right? Like the combination of Bud and playoff Drew Holiday, just was insurmountable in the playoffs a lot of times. Yeah. Like we got that thing done and we got it won, but Bud didn't find a way to get it done. And sometimes the thing about Bud was you had to save him from himself sometimes, and if you could do that, you were good. But it just, to me, feels like, wow, he's the only guy who brings you a ring in 40 years. He gets it done. You fire him less than 2 years after him doing it. Yeah, man, that was what I worried about. But again, you're right. Hindsight, completely 2020. Understand that. Having said that, though, the second worst move, I feel terrible bringing this up, but we fired Dr. Griffin in the middle of the season for Doc Rivers. It made absolutely no sense as to why we did it, because people were not pounding down Doc Rivers' door. We did that like this was going to be some sort of magic pill, like this was going to literally solve all the problems that we've ever had before, only to have Doc Rivers now be significantly, was he like 4 or 5 games under 500, to still lose in the first. I just don't know what this franchise is doing from an ownership perspective. The other thing is listen, man, y'all can jump over me, y'all can excoriate me in the comments for this, but when Hortz was flirting with Detroit, we should have said, listen, what y'all gonna give us for him? What y'all gonna give us for him?
And again, the reason John Horst was flirting with Detroit was because he started to see the power. This is when Jimmy Haslam got the power shift started to change. You had Doc Rivers. Again, John Horst was kind of forced to hiring Doc Rivers. You had Doc Rivers and Jimmy Haslam are gaining more. Jimmy Haslam's the owner, but Doc Rivers is the one really gaining more power in that front office. John Horst losing some of that power, and as well being closer to the hot seat and thinking about, okay, maybe Detroit is the move, especially being from there too. So, but yeah, that's all of that goes into play as to why he was thinking about making a move.
A shout out to Van Lee, because he did bring up something in the chat. Not only did we get rid of Bud in the manner in which we did, but we did it right after the man's brother died.
Hey,
No,
listen,
hold
condolences, but sorry.
In my job, one of my brothers died. I'm not gonna be focused. It's gonna be a whole lot of veterinarians out here suffering. Just keep it a buck.
Then take a leave and have somebody. Hey, listen, because I won't do it. Listen, I sound like, hey, what you say, JT?
Look.
That's an excuse. Everybody, hey, all what is the booties got them and they all clapping. Everybody got a button. How I go? They like cheeks. They all clapping.
Hey, excuses are like butt cheeks. Right. Everybody got them and they all clapping. Well, whistling.
One thing about I can't even about that. God, dog. One thing about Bud in 2021 in those playoffs, that is arguably one of the best coaching jobs I've ever seen. To see you lose the best player on planet Earth and you still find a way to get to those finals, then you're getting your butt hammered 2-0 and you come back with 4 straight. The same thing that we were talking about, what happened, what happened against the Toronto Raptors. Well, hey, look, man, I'm new to this stuff.
I know. No, but you know what's funny?
I'll be...
Do you know what was funny? Every one of those series against them in 2021, if you remember, there were articles coming out on Bud before each series. Is he on the hot seat? And he did, like you said, he coached his ass off in 20. I will give him that. He coached his ass off 2021. But before every one of the series, even before the East Conference Finals, an article dropped literally 30 minutes before the East Conference Finals. Hey, I don't know if this is gonna be enough to save his job. I don't know. He gonna have to have a strong showing. Because remember, it was the Atlanta Hawks that he was facing again, and Trae Young got hurt too. So I get Giannis was out. Trae Young was out too.
So I'll make this final point on Bud. Here's the only thing that I have a problem with how we fired and the way we got rid of him. He brings it. He brings the city a championship in 40 plus years. Yes, his brother died. Yes, all that happened. But if you're a team that has not had a championship in 40-something years, and that guy brings you a title 50 years, the goodwill has to last longer than 2 years after winning a ring. That is absolute insanity. And you saw LA pull that same stunt with Frank Vogel after he won the bubble title, and he was out 2 years later too, right? You've seen this happen. This is madness. That is absolutely crazy that an NBA title does not buy you. Now, listen, I'm not expecting it to be a Rick Carlisle type situation where you win the title in 2011 and you're there until 2022. That's crazy, not making the playoffs only a handful of times if again, period. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that this man brings you a title. He creates the standard. they was giving away tickets at the gas station. You pull up into the BP and folks are trying to slap them on the window, right? Like, so they were giving this away. But now we can talk about Jason Kidd and how he did some of the infrastructure too, right? He helped lay the concrete slab and everything else. Okay, great. But Bud is the one who created the standard. Bud is the one who made Bud is the one who made this Bucks team an elite team in the East. He's the guy that built the damn house. And 2 years later, hey, man, you know what? Something happened to your brother, man. We sorry. You know what we did? We gave that man a week. We're going to get some time just to go ahead and evaluate the season. We already knew what time it was. And that is what I think. I think we're cursed. Honestly, I think we have a Bud curse.
Again, and that's another one where you want to go to people who got Bud out of here. That's why we
can't. Jimmy and D?
No, that was Giannis and the rest of the team who was tired of the way he was acting. Mike Budenholzer, again, I don't think his personality is he does not have, from my understanding, he has a very strong personality. He's one of the guys that, he's not a
he's a pop guy. He's a Popovich guy,
and he did not. Yeah, that team got tired of Mike Budenholzer. Is basically what it was. The things you heard about. Remember when you kept hearing about mutiny with Adrian Griffin?
Mm-hmm.
That's what went on with Mike Budenholzer as well. So again, and that's why it's a hard thing for me to listen to when we go back and we talk about these Giannis rumors and what's happening with him potentially wanting out or whatever. All of these things have really been set up. But do you think Mike Budenholzer's gone if Giannis don't sign off on it? Like again, I'm not saying Giannis is making the move. I'm not saying he's not like LeBron, trade half the team. I don't think it's that level. I don't think he's doing that. But do you think
he's stamping it?
Do you think the Nassas is anywhere near the team without you? No. Do you think that Adrian was hired? No. Do you think Adrian was fired? No. No. Like Giannis is a part of. Do you think Drew Holiday? You think he know the Drew Holiday? I'm not gonna say he knew exactly what there's Drew for day, but do you think you don't think the man signed an extension right after it happened? Like, yeah,
they called him before. They called him before it finalized. I feel like they called him before the trade finalized.
He's in on this stuff, man.
But look, so one thing, JT, to kind of push back at you, I feel like Bud decorated the house, but J Kidd built that house.
There you go. This is from J Kidd.
That's what I feel like.
I think you got to give Bud a little more credit than
the frame was there and stuff like that.
Yeah, the frame.
You said what you saying. Bud put the what's the joint called in the walls?
Studs?
Absolutely.
Insulation. You saying he did the insulation or whatever. He put the insulation. I mean, if J Kidd built it, it was sticks.
I think
J Kidd built it was sticks. Right.
Framework.
You're right. Bud got the piping and got the insulation and the electricity and everything else running through it too. Like, come on now.
Yeah, I give you that. I give you that.
When we look back on this, when we sitting more than 500. Wait. More than 500 after 10 games. We're gonna be 6-4. We're gonna be all right. And then the conversation is gonna change. And then because this team showed they showed some great resolve against the Philadelphia 76ers. I know they were missing Embiid, but I don't really factor in Embiid because he's never there anyway.
And Paul George. But let me ask you a question though. Seriously, straight up. How long you got a job? You got a job, right? Right? Would you just said the Bucks? You said the Bucks gonna be 6-4, right?
6-4.
Would you put your 401k on that? Hell no! I can already hear you pause. I can see the way you pause. You looked up and was like, "Nah, hell, wait, hold on." You think about your balance, like shit. Hell no, I ain't putting that on there.
Hey,
I'm not gonna bet my money on this team being 6-4. Hell no.
At 41, 401k is tough. 401k is tough, bro. I've been putting into this for a minute.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll put the next check on it though.
Right. So would you put your right? That's what I'm saying. You're not gonna basically like how strongly do you believe they're gonna go 6-4? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, based off of what I see. Oh no, sir. That looks like 4-6 at best.
I'll be happy if they're 4-6. That means they win some basketball games. I'll take 4-6. I would take 4-6. You're right in the 500. If they're 4-6 at the 10-game mark, I think everybody's gonna be like, okay. This thing's gonna be okay.
Right.
I think
that's the best case scenario right now.
Yeah. No,
let me take my Milwaukee Kool-Aid glasses off. All right, so let me answer that question as a basketball fan. Yeah, 4-6 would be phenomenal. I think we can be about 5-5 though, for real, man. Like
that'd be great.
Hey,
I'll take that.
Heads got to roll in this locker room. Heads got to roll. Somebody got to make this speech. I don't know if it's Darvin. We talked about this a couple games ago. I don't know if it's Darvin Ham, if it's Giannis, if it's Dame, if it's Portis. Somebody got to do something, though, man. This team has far too much talent to be 1-4 right now. 3-2, 2-3. That seems about right.
But the question, though, but let me ask you this question, right? Like you said, this team has too much talent. Does it?
No, the talent is there on the paper. Yes, the talent is there.
With the starters.
True.
You go to that bench.
But again, but you in theory you should have a Bobby Portis who's a 6-man a year candidate. You should be able to sustain yourself. And then
you should have Pat Connaughton from 2020.
Well, no, but again, you supposed to have
a time machine.
We thought, didn't we? Before the season, we thought AJ Green was going. We thought AJ Green was going to give us something. He ain't giving you nothing before the season. Again, well, you don't have Chris Middleton, but you would have thought, okay, even with these bench lineups, you would have maybe Chris and Giannis with the bench. You'd have Giannis in the bench. Damon, you thought that they would be able to sustain. They have not been able to do that. You also would have thought Torian Prince could hit some threes. You would have thought Gary Trent Jr. would have hit some threes. Like some of the things that you thought were supposed to happen are not happening. And again, all of that is definitely a part of the issue and some of the things. Quick Draw McGraw says Giannis is likely out of here. I disagree with that. Todd Merrill says Jason Kidd was terrible. That's not true either. Terrible's an overstatement. Again, and I always went through and try to tell people Jason Kidd is not a bad coach. He's okay coach. He's a decent coach. And
if he's terrible,
in Dallas right now showing it. He's in Dallas right now showing it.
Well, that's my point. If he's terrible, why are those Mavericks teams in the Western Conference Finals if he's terrible?
Right. And don't give me, it's just Luka. Yeah, because Rick Carlisle had Luka too. Rick Carlisle had Luka too and couldn't do nothing with him. Basketball Reach says some of the post-game interviews are pretty interesting. I have not seen them, so I'm definitely interested in seeing what was happening post-game. One Punch Man says, I agree. J. Kidd helped develop Giannis. Without Giannis, we wouldn't be talking Bucks now. That is correct as well. Dan did Chili Box and says, hey, man, Chris is healthy. He just can't play because the organization taking precautions. He wants to play, by the way. See, now, again, I've got that from what I've heard. It's the reverse. It's that the organization has cleared Chris Middleton. He's the one saying, let me wait based upon precautions. Vlo wants to say, says, should have hired Terry Stotts instead of Griff. Hell no. Nah. I've seen he's a retread head because Terry Stotts ain't doing nothing. Terry Stotts ain't doing a damn damn thing. He ain't doing a damn thing.
What's our record with a healthy Chris Middleton?
It's a good question. I have to check that out.
We don't even know what a healthy Chris Middleton looks like.
Yeah, is he ever
we don't
healthy?
Know.
Yeah, it's good.
and we just don't know what a quote unquote healthy Chris Middleton looks like. Look, you've had so many surgeries on knee, ankle, all kind of stuff like that too. Things start to stiffen up a little bit, right? Like last year, we said there were times where Chris looked like a cone. And, I can't imagine ankle surgery is going to help that. Not after this many. So we don't even know what that looks like.
Can we agree if he's there, we probably beat the Bulls and Nets? Or
correct.
No?
Oh, I agree with that.
Yeah, I 100% believe
you shouldn't. But this is the thing. You should.
So we 3-2 at the worst.
You should not need Chris Middleton to beat the Bulls and Nets.
No,
and listen,
you should not.
The Memphis Grizzlies on a back-to-back, no Marcus Smart, no Desmond Bane, just beat us. Like, you should not need. I mean, that's concerning. And again, it almost feels like. And I get where you're going with that, but does that almost kind of feel like not an excuse? What's the word I'm looking for? Not an excuse, but like a something that you just gotta wait and it's all Christmas. Like Chris Middleton's gonna save everything. I'm telling you, the problems and holes are bigger. Like we can pretend like that's one of these things where we just kind of have gotten ourselves into believing that this thing is gonna be fixed when Chris Middleton comes in. I don't know that. I don't know that at all. I don't know that at all. Again, I'm not saying they won't get better. I'm not saying that they won't be better. Chris Middleton will definitely make the team better. But your goal isn't to beat the Bulls and the Nets. Your goal is to win a championship, and they're so far back right now. I don't think Chris, putting a Band-Aid over that is getting you in the 7. Does Chris Middleton right now? What you've seen right now, this basketball, what you've seen. Does Chris Middleton make you? If adding Chris Middleton to the mess you've seen right now, does that make you think you can beat Boston in a 7-game series?
Absolutely not.
Oh my God! Come
on.
Come on.
Absolutely not.
Yes, and here's why I say yes, because he's that stabilizing effect on the offensive end when these dudes, Gary Trent Jr., Torian Prince, Ajax or whatever. Those shots that those guys are missing are shots that Chris Middleton makes.
Hey, I don't disagree with that.
I would 100% agree with that. But what I don't think Chris Middleton can do is change everybody's attitude. What I don't think Chris Middleton can do is make folks hustle that don't want to hustle. Make folks go after them 50-50 balls. Make guys dive on them. Make
Stop
guys
the turnovers. Hey,
right,
Chris
make-
Middleton Chris Middleton gonna come
guys-
in and dribble even worse. That man
right.
can't dribble.
Make guys get out there and think. Right. Make guys get out there. All right. Transition defense. Okay. I don't think that Chris is Chris solves all our problems. I think Chris certainly contributes and helps things get better. But Chris Middleton by himself is not the solution for the many issues that the Bucks have right now.
So you know what else we missing?
What's that?
I think, and I know these dudes, and Cameron and Mace probably, if I was anything worth talking to, they'd be at my neck like a violin. We missing Thanasis and we missing Pat Beverly. We missing attitude adjustment guys, man.
Yeah, but even Pat Bev's old. I mean, I get now. Pat Bev could be probably playing better than DeLon Wright right now. Again, that's another guy. JT, we just talked about. You said, on paper, DeLon Wright was supposed. We were talking about him like a big bench addition, that he was going to be an upgrade of Pat Beverly. So far, he has not been that. Basketball Reach says Doc said tonight was the greatest make or miss night ever. So. He also admitted that the defensive transition was terrible and said it's all on him till we get it right. So I think Doc's Underground Hub says Doc always got excuses. That is an excuse. The greatest make or miss night ever. That's a huge excuse. But he does say
Doc is a press conference guy, though, guys. Like, listen, this is what Doc does. He gets in front of the media. He says this. He says all the right things. That's one thing that you can certainly appreciate about Doc Rivers. He says all the right things. And you know what he does? Throws them notes away after he leaves. All right, back on to the same thing. We're just going to keep chopping wood. We're going to keep doing this 1%, right? It's that Frank Reich approach. We're just going to keep doing the same exact thing. It's going to work out.
Selling water to whales.
Want to make sure everybody in the chat, please get your thumbs up. Go and see Chris King in the chat. Please click the thumbs up. Please follow, subscribe, like, all that stuff. Cream City Crossover again. Appreciate bringing you this content. Great. A lot of people in the chat having some fun right now with the Bucks who lose it tonight. 122.99. Oh, that's what I forgot to put. I don't even think do we even need to do game balls? Do we have to do a game ball tonight? Is there everybody? I mean, I don't have it here, but okay, let's just do it. I mean, because we typically would do it. I did forget to put it on the rundown. But let's get into game balls tonight in a 122.99 loss. The Memphis Grizzlies defeating the Milwaukee Bucks. And my game ball tonight goes to the one, the only, the guy who is better than Ja Morant. You guys told me that he wasn't. You guys argued me down the other night that Ja Morant shouldn't be on a top player over Damian Lillard, and it was crystal clear. You could see it. I mean, from miles away, anybody could see it. Stevie Wonder was out there like, damn, y'all see Ja Morant tonight? 26, 14, and 10. Ja Morant was 9 of 16 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3. He had 9 defensive rebounds tonight. He was a plus 29 on the game. Ja Morant gets my game ball tonight for the Memphis Grizzlies as they defeat the Milwaukee Bucks 122-99.
You know what I'm gonna do tonight? You know who's gonna get my game? I'm keeping my game ball. Ain't nobody getting no
okay,
game.
Giannis.
I want to give it to Giannis. You know what? I would give it to Giannis, but he's got a closet full of them. Right? I would give it to Giannis. He's got a closet full of them. Giannis comes out, brings it every single night. I mean, now what he can't do though, Giannis can't shake this team out of this funk by himself. Nope. He can't do it by himself. I'm keeping my game ball tonight. Giannis understand.
Okay.
Well, if you keeping it, but I feel like you pseudo gave it to Giannis. So
I gave Giannis his flowers, my brother.
There you go. Okay.
I'm gonna give it to the only other dude on the Bucks that showed heart besides Giannis tonight, and that's my guy Andre Jackson Jr. Man,
true.
Sometimes he comes in and his aggression is a little bit too much, and he gets the foul calls and stuff like that. But I'd rather you get fouls called on you for attempting to guard versus watch the dudes dunk all night.
Yeah, and that's the only thing when I see those people talking about, Andre Jackson's got to play 30 minutes a game. He can't play 30 minutes a game, folks. Not right now. Again, he gives the most effort. He gives the most effort on the team besides Giannis. He's jumping after loose balls, getting rebounds, but now he can't. He cannot physically go out and play 30 minutes. He's gonna foul out. He's literally going to foul out. He just can't do it. let's look around the NBA again. The 122-99 final. Memphis Grizzlies beat the Milwaukee Bucks. Clippers up 93-91 over the Phoenix Suns right now. The Rockets beat the Mavericks tonight. Spurs are 2-3. Wow, man, the Bucks are really really having a bad go of it. The Spurs get their second win of the year, 106-88 over the Utah Jazz. And let me see if I can find. Let me see the standings right now. Right now, the Milwaukee Bucks are the number 14 team out east. Again, it's just standings right now.
Damn, it's only 15 teams in the East.
They are tied. Well, they are tied again. So it's Philly is 1-3, Toronto's 1-4, Bucks 1-4. Detroit Pistons are 1-4 as well. The Bucks have lost 4 games in a row, longest losing streak outside the Utah Jazz, who are 0-5 in the entire NBA. Simba says Giannis is going to Heat. I don't believe it. I'm not going there at all. Don't see it. And then looking around the let's doing the look around, man. Did you guys I want to start with, well, it's interesting. That's a word talking about where Giannis going to be a Heat. I don't think so, dog. I don't see it.
Hey, shout out to the chat tonight. Some of these comments are hilarious. We're gonna go back to these comments after the show. There's a few all-time comments.
They're going crazy.
Wow.
Todd Merrill says Doc cares more about the election than he does the Bucks. So that's interesting.
I mean, now that's fair.
Valid right now. Yeah, he went in and recorded a commercial. So I mean,
you get voice on it.
Yeah, he put his voice on it
with his entire chest, and then talked about it, followed it up at the press conference. Listen, man, I as long as he wanted to stand by it, I say go for it. Yeah. Regardless of who you support, as long as you're gonna stand on it, don't retreat. So.
But at 4-1, it wouldn't even be a conversation.
Say what? No, I agree.
If we were 4-1, it wouldn't even be a conversation.
I agree with that.
I don't think that man cares more about the election. I feel like he stood on what he believed in for his political beliefs. But hey, dog, when you 1-4, it's all open now, and you got to take that smoke.
Yeah, keep it a buck with you. I think there's a lot of people that care more about the election than basketball right now. Playing basketball right now. See LeBron James. Listen, I think a lot of people right now. I mean, because think about it. Like, it's the NBA. There's a ton of games. It's 82 games. We're only 5 games in. I mean, nobody give a damn right now. Like, because it's not crunch time. None of these games are going to have a material impact on how you do overall this season. So, yeah, like.
And yeah, I think that Monday, it's the last Bucks game before the elections. Monday the 4th, I think we'll probably do a lot of on our look around. We'll probably do some election talk Monday night, because again the NBA is off on Tuesday, so it'll be interesting to see kind of where this thing goes. And again, maybe we will be under a new direction. What kind of direction? We'll see, but we'll save that talk for Monday night after the Bucks play Cleveland, in which Justin says will be a win, because he's told us the Bucks are going to start off 3-4. So we're looking forward to seeing that.
Just putting that 401k on.
I wanted to ask you about this, JT. Your boy Anthony. You see your boy Anthony Richardson getting benched for Joe Flacco. And you know, after was it after a run where he tapped his helmet and asked to come out of the football game. Man, I'll just say to start. Number one, because there's a couple questions, a couple things you want to get to on. There's a couple things you want to get to on Anthony Richardson. One of which is, was it too early for them to go to Joe Flacco? He's in this right now. Anthony Richardson's in the same kind of boat as Bryce Young, where he's lost his starting job. He's a franchise quarterback, one of the top picks in the draft, and you know that's it. Seemingly, we'll see what it looks like. But this is Joe Flacco's team now moving forward. So I think there's that, and then I just wonder though how much credibility he lost in the locker room and in the front office and in the organization when he tapped his helmet to go out. There's 6 guys on a football field. You can't do that. Wide receivers can do that, come out of the game. Running backs routinely take themselves out deep. I mean, they're not really deep, but guys can do some of that. The 6 guys, those offensive linemen, that unit, you don't get to come out, and the quarterback, you don't get to come out. You don't get to, unless you're hurt. You don't get to do that. And the fact that he did that, I think he lost a lot of respect and a lot of credibility. And then, if you do, you got to lie. Like he did. Like he came out and said, "Hey, yeah, I was tired, dog." Not. It just shows a lack of respect for the game and a lack of maturity, and it shows that they probably should have. That was a mistake to draft him. That was a mistake to draft him that high. But the real mistake was seeing him come out of Florida. He hadn't played enough, and so you didn't have enough film on him. He wasn't mature enough as a player to be drafted to the organization to be a franchise quarterback. And again, rightfully so. I think you had to strip him of that title. It sends a bad message in your locker room when Anthony Richardson is tapping himself out the game. I agree with the decision. And yeah, you got to sit, and who knows, if he gets another opportunity, when he gets it, if it's with the Indianapolis Colts or with somebody else. But yeah, you just can't do that.
Well, this is why I hate drafting quarterbacks solely on potential. Like, I don't believe in using high first round picks on a quarterback solely for potential unless you already have a quarterback in the building here. And that was the biggest problem with this is you picked Anthony Richardson and you kind of knew his flaws. You knew that accuracy was going to be an issue. You knew he didn't have a lot of game experience. You knew he was crazily athletic. But at the end of the day, I think the thought process was, hey, he'll be able to run the zone read in Indianapolis. They're going to have Jonathan Taylor, one of the best offensive lines in the game. They're going to be able to give teams fits when those two guys are healthy. Problem is, Anthony Richardson played 5 years last year, tore his shoulder up, and actually technically got to sit, right? You played 5 games, you got to sit for 12, and so you would think there would have been some development. You saw some good, you saw some good, you saw the talent there, bit of an accuracy issue. This year he comes out, and it's kind of the rinse and repeat. You see the talent, you see the accuracy issue, he gets hurt again, he's not available, but then you start to say, well, wait a minute, how come it hasn't got better from last year to this year? Well, he hasn't played enough football. Okay, well, but doesn't he need to sit, right? So it just becomes this death spiral here for him, or, well, he doesn't know enough because he doesn't play, right? He doesn't play because he doesn't know. And, yeah, I think you had to save him from himself and move to Flacco. Now, here's the thing. It's not just the tapping on the helmet that gets him out of the game because he had thrown a 280-pound man off. He had done that too. It's the fact that Anthony Richardson was 10 for 24 last week and 10 for 32 10 for 24 the week before, and 10 for 32. I mean, these aren't even – that's worse than like Tim Tebow. 10 for 32, that's worse than Tim Tebow numbers. So at some point, as a coach, when you have a quarterback out there that's struggling like this, and you got a guy like Joe Flacco who comes in and has been balling, it's almost like, man, from a credibility perspective, and then the icing on the cake is he taps his helmet. Hey, I'm tired. Like okay, right? Like we gotta go ahead, get to a point to where we can reset here because where we going is not it. And the whole team can see that. And when you look at some of these Colts players talking, kind of feels like he lost the locker room, at least temporarily at this point.
I think with Richardson, it's just going to be a learning experience. I think his best football is in front of him. I think he's going to bounce back for this, and he's going to take over the league. And at some point, he'll be an NFL MVP. I may be a little bit biased because he's my frat brother, but I ain't going to say nothing negative about the young Newt Richardson. Moving on for me.
Hey, well, and look, I agree with you. I think he's going to be very good at some point. I don't think it's going to be for the Indianapolis Colts. I think he's got let that man sit for a little while, let that man learn, let that man develop slowly. He probably should have sat last year. They knew he should have sat last year. They didn't want to roll with Gardner Minshew for the whole season. They got a little overzealous, but yeah, I think he's going to be very good at some point, provided that he stays healthy. Because that's the other thing is he's had a lot of injuries at this point, and the body can only take so much before it's a shell of itself.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing is the injury history with him. And again, I listen, man, it's hard to be Cam. It is real hard to be Cam, and that's part of his game is running the rock and wanting to be especially when you have the accuracy issues that he has, and he's one of the guys that you look up and he'll be 2 for 9, but had 94 yards passing because he throws a deep bomb. That's one of those guys. Ty Merrill also mentions that it was a good point. We did mention it for a second earlier, but they didn't pick up the Bucks didn't pick up the Marjan option, which makes a lot of sense for the Bucks not picking that up for him. Just hadn't shown enough, and the Bucks had to cut ties with Marjan Beauchamp, and we'll see what his career ends up with as. I think he had plenty of opportunities in Milwaukee and just didn't make the most of them. And year after year, it was always year after year for Marjan. He was always he's gonna get better. Remember last year it was he's the best guy. Remember last year Marjan was the best guy in camp. That's what they raved about Marjan all camp and came out and really couldn't put anything
He
together.
went to Greece. Remember Marjan went to Greece
Yeah.
to train and did all this other stuff too? Right. Whole bunch of nothing.
Yeah.
Whole bunch of nothing. Got everybody fired up.
Oh, sorry.
You good.
He's Rashad Vaughn Jr. Like, I hate to say it, man. Guy that I rooted for, that I wanted to see a lot from, man.
Yep.
I like Marjan. I feel like the Bucks did a bad decision by not picking up that option because that just decreases his trade value even more. Pick up the option and then move him. Like, you're putting it on blast even more that you don't believe in him. Like, you at least got to you in your hand with two hearts in your hand, you got to at least make somebody believe you got a spade in there.
So you one of those guys? How many books you got? 8. And everybody like,
that's
goddamn
sunken cost fallacy right there, man. Nah, it's a wrap. You can't put more resources into Marjan. Nah, it's a wrap.
How many books you got? I got 6. You got goddamn 6 books.
I got 8 and a renege in my back pocket. That's what we're doing.
Anything else you guys wanted to get to? The Jets did get a win tonight over the Jets got a win over the Houston Texans. It was a great catch from Garrett Wilson tonight. So they needed that bad. They needed that really bad to keep themselves in the contention. But yeah, anything on that before we kind of close this thing out?
Oh man, it's been a long day. Halloween.
You know
what? Tomorrow, November 1st, man. So tomorrow's November 1st. So there'll be a small contingent of folks already in the Christmas spirit, and I say some more power to you. Everybody can use a little more happiness. So hey, man, if you like it, I love it.
Trying to make sure the tree don't come up too early in my house.
Right. Yeah. Listen, man, I might show up to work with a carton of eggnog next week. I might have to show up with a carton of eggnog walking around next week.
We're gonna need some eggnog after this Bucks game tonight, but with that Jets game, we'll put a little bit of that brandy in there. Shout out to all them people from Wisconsin, because that's what we do. We put brandy in about everything in the state of Wisconsin, though.
True.
But Rodgers Adams in that win, though. You got a Rodgers Adams touchdown. Only thing I want to touch on is Paolo, man. That sucks, man.
Yes, Paolo torn right oblique out indefinitely. He put up the first 50-point game of his career on Monday. 3 days later, don't know when he's gonna play again for the Magic. Paolo Banchero, man, he's been balling, and one of those guys that got into the league, and he's always had such a smooth game. And this year, getting 5 games in, but there was I don't like to do this 5 games in, but like MVP type of, you saw 50 points, he looked every bit of the part like he was going to to really take that ascension to the next level. But yeah, so it sucks for him that he's gonna be out for, like I said, 4 to 6 weeks before they reevaluate. Hopefully he can get back on track here. Todd Merrill says he's got brandy mixed with lib tears. Okay. Yeah.
Two times, Todd. 2 times.
Yeah. So yeah, any final words on the Bucks 122-99 loss to the Memphis Grizzlies? Take your last call here.
Hey man, let's get a W this weekend. Let's just split one with the Cavaliers, right? You got to stop the pain at some point. I'll take the first one. I'll take the last one. We got to do something. What we can't do is lose both this weekend.
If I had to choose one, we'd have to get the one in the mill, right? Like, we got to put on for the 414 in our own home arena, man. Like,
you want to go take it,
right after that Bulls game. Can I know you said, and I know we're wrapping up, but can I ask y'all one last question before we wrap up?
Sure.
Any credence to bringing Justice Winslow up off the herd?
Why not? He can't play no worse. He can't.
Right. Hey,
worse.
Listen. Right.
The guy I think that should get, and I think somebody in the chat said it earlier too. Ryan Rollins. I've been impressed with him since Summer League. And DeLon Wright hadn't impressed me. So yeah, I want to see everybody before. I'm not ready to count anybody out. I'll take.
Hey.
Let me see everybody play. Let me see everybody play.
Look, listen, Ryan Rollins, I agree with you, and Ryan Rollins has actually been okay. Like he's shown some promise in the league. Listen, man, if you can keep him out the self-checkout line of Target, you're gonna be all right. Right? That's the biggest thing with Ryan Rollins, because remember he was arrested for stealing. What he steal, like $1,000 worth of toiletries at Target or whatever?
Why are you bringing that up, man?
Listen, I'm just saying, you do everything to pay for stuff.
JT always gonna bring the whole criminal record from their 6-year-old juvenile crap.
Listen, man, I just don't forget nothing, right? Like I get it. I mean, right? It's like Jameis and the crab legs. I mean, we can talk about that later on Saturday.
Yeah. I'm gonna get on y'all Saturday talking about my dog Jameis.
We bringing the smoke to Cleveland Saturday. We starting a win streak. Like we gonna have a 4-game losing streak this year, so we got it out the way early. Let's win 10 in a row now. Let's go.
Now I will say I do think at some point I do think they will turn this around. I really do. But yeah, but I don't know what it's going to take to turn around. I don't know if that's going to be when you really turn around. Is it going to be trades that happen, different lineups rotate? I don't know what's going to take. I do think the Bucks will. People, the Bucks aren't going to make the playoffs. Todd Merrill saying that Bucks can't beat the Hornets right now. I do think that the world will get back on its axis and spin appropriately for everything. Will be right at some point. I'm not ready to call the Giannis will be traded before the February deadline. No, I'm not going there. I'm not going there yet. I do think there will be some moves that potentially get made, but the Bucks will be. I think they will be fine at some point. They just got to stop. They got to stop the bleeding. And you're right, Justin. It'd be great to stop the bleeding on Saturday. I think that would be a statement win if you could go beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are 5-0. Saturday night. That's just at home. That's a statement win. And again, that's one of the things. Gut check. You got to figure out what you want to do. Nikosa Mizobuku says, "Who do we blame for the Bucks' current issues?" I think it's about everybody. I mean, I think it's collective. I don't think there's any one person who's at fault for the Bucks' current issues. I think it's collective. I think it's a lot on the players. I think someone's going to coaches. We got to figure that out. One more says, keep coming in. I love the internet. I love cooking the internet bum. Says Trey, you're blaming Giannis for the Dame trade. The Bucks wanted to get Dame since 2013. Yes, 2013. Dame says he wanted to play with Giannis even before 2020, even before the 2021 championship. No, I'm not. So I guess we're not understanding what you're saying. I'm not blaming Giannis for the Dame trade. I think the Dame trade was the appropriate thing to do. What I'm saying is you can't ask for Damian Lillard. The Bucks then go get Damian Lillard, and then like I said, and if this report is true, I don't even think it's true. But then on the back end say, "Oh, nah, y'all haven't done everything that you need to do to get me a championship." That's what I'm saying. I'm not blaming. No, Giannis Dame trade. Yes, I would have done that if I was John Horst too. What I'm saying is they gave you what you wanted, and then you say this wasn't what I asked for. No, that and I need to be traded because y'all. No, that I'm not gonna do. That's what I'm saying. I'm not blaming him for the trade. No, not at all. But yeah. That's all I got, man. Cleveland Cavaliers on Saturday night. Let's get a dub. Let's do it. Okay, yeah. Now, okay. I can't keep going. This man says that yes. Okay, so now you tell me that the Bucks have been working on trading Dame for 8 years. Got it. Okay, I'm not going. Okay, if you say so. It's an 8-year trade process that went on between Giannis and the Bucks and
you ain't blaming Giannis for Dame. You thanking him for Dame.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Happy to have Dame.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not. It's not. Well, he's saying that the podcast did very little for the trade. I'm not saying. No, I don't know that. That was the first time. This is what I'll say. Last thing I'll say. That was the first time we'd ever seen Giannis come out publicly in a podcast format and really say, "Hey, I will leave if y'all ain't doing what I need you to do." No, I think, and again, we'd heard rumblings that he's been saying that, but when you go public and say that, no, I do think that spurs some action. I do. And again, like you said, if it's been almost happening for 8 years and then somebody really says, "Hey, no, I'll do it," yeah, I'm not trying to have them call the bluff. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, they went and did it. One Punch Man says, "Where's Rondo on the coaching staff?" I think Rondo is I don't know that he has an actual role. Isn't he just? I think he's just. I don't think he has an actual title. I think he's basically like helping out. I think he's kind of like like Warren Sapp over at Colorado. He there.
Like KG used to be when Kid was a coach.
Right. But except the only thing on that, except KG never sat on the sideline, never sat on the bench during the games. Like Rondo is on the second row, but I really don't think he has from my understanding, he doesn't have a role, any official capacity. From my understanding, I could be wrong though. I'm welcome to be wrong. I'm not gonna keep going. Keep saying, yeah, we're not blaming the Dame trade. Got it. Okay, let's get out of here. This man's not understanding what I'm saying. But let's get out of here. Man, 122-99. The Memphis Grizzlies beat the Milwaukee Bucks. Again, we appreciate everybody for watching tonight. Man, this was a lot of fun. A lot of guys in here, a lot of people in here. Great stream. Great listen, man. Appreciate everybody. If you're watching on YouTube, watching on Twitter, like, follow, subscribe to the Cream City Crossover. We appreciate it. We appreciate your super chats as well. We had a couple of those that came in. We also appreciate our sponsors, the Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill out in Pewaukee, Wisconsin. Go there Wednesday, Thursday nights, trivia and bingo. Trivia, also getting free tickets, and you get pints and bottles for $3 at every Milwaukee Bucks televised game. Whew. This has been a Cream City Media Group production. Back at it Saturday night. We have on your T's and Q's Saturday. It's Guru Trey Crosby III.
JT.
Justin. And shout out my boy Mans for tuning in tonight. Appreciate you, Brody.
Shout out everybody for tuning in. Shout out, man. Shout out everybody for tuning in. Hey, if I am your enemy, it is only because I dare to tell you the truth. Don't take no wooden nickels.